Refusing service isn't personal, it's the law. We know it's not easy, but we're counting on you to keep us all safe. Thank you, servers, for doing the tough job.
Hello and welcome to this special edition COVID-19 Rogers Television program. My name is Carol Merton, and today I'm delighted to welcome as a guest Tiffany James from the Owen Sound Chamber of Commerce. And Tiffany's portfolio is social media and events coordinator, but I think she's got a lot more on her plate really than that. So Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm delighted to speak to you about what the Chamber is doing, and especially in COVID-19 days. Who would think we'd be still talking about this at this point in time?
Yes.
My first question to you is, first of all, how are you and all of the staff? Because you're one of several people at the Chamber of Commerce. So how is everyone doing and coping with this COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, we're doing as well as can be suspected. Well, the Chamber is a not-for-profit, and a lot of our funding comes from events that we're able to host. So we haven't been able to do that because of the COVID restrictions. So we've sort of switched our focus to grants and applying grants to small businesses and how we can help keep the community vibrant through grants. So that's what we're working on now, which keeps us really busy. There is two of us in the office, myself and Diane, and we just actually were able to bring on one more person, which is nice during, especially during COVID, when you're able to hire someone and bring someone on, just to alleviate some of that load we've had since we've expanded into a grant application. So. No, we're doing okay. I personally am glad that the kids are back at school, because it is very hard to work from home and homeschool a 7 and 9-year-old.
I just can't even imagine, you know, and no matter what, a shut door is not really a shut door to a child. Knock, knock, knock. So, well done for what you've accomplished. But yes, I bet you were one of the parents doing a happy dance.
I was a little nervous as well, but mentally, I think in my household, we all needed it.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me just a little bit about the Owen Sound Chamber of Commerce. You mentioned it was nonprofit, but tell me how people get involved in a chamber and what your role is.
So our role is to help small business, we provide educational workshops, informational webinars, and information just on a daily basis, especially during COVID. The rules change daily. So, you know, we have a direct line to someone at City Hall and at Public Health that helps us whenever we're asked a question, which is great. We can go right to there and have the answers if we don't already know. One of the things that we consist of, we currently have 400 members that are local small businesses. We're Owen Sound and District, so some of our members are in the Georgian Bluffs area. We have some members in the Holland Center area, Holland Chatsworth. So we're not just strictly to Owen Sound, but our office is based out of Owen Sound.
And so businesses or even new businesses coming into town, they would connect with you, or do you find out about them and you connect with them? How does it work for someone to get connected?
We always have our eyes and ears open for any new businesses that are in town. We have a nice connection with the local radio stations as well that let us know if there's new business in town, but we typically are one of the first ones to know because they do come to us, which is nice, and we like to help. Like, we just helped with the Burger King's grand opening when they reopened in town here. So it's, we reach out, but we enjoy it when they reach out to us too as well. Yeah,
for sure. Now, so you've had to change your way of doing business, just like so many people. Mm-hmm. You reach out through newsletters as well, correct? Where you update.
So we have a weekly, we have emails that go out that inform businesses, and you can sign up, whether you're a member or not, on our website, sign up to our subscription, and we'll let you know any sort of grants or funding that's available for small businesses. We keep them informed through our emails. We also have a weekly email blast called the Inside Scoop. Now, this is just strictly for members only. That allows them to advertise or promote anything that they have going on through our e-blast. And that goes out to, over 5,000 businesses in our area. So it's very valuable for our membership to have that opportunity.
Yes. Yes, and I had the good fortune to actually see that newsletter, and and it's really interesting and informative, and it does give you a flavor of what's happening. There's a lot of activity going on in the business world that is going on even in COVID.
Yes, what I like to see is the pivot that the businesses are doing during COVID, like local restaurants now offering their yummy entrees as frozen meals, so you can order them to take out and take home. And I think it's great to see them be able to pivot during that time to try to keep them their doors still open and let people still be able to taste their tasty treats.
Yes, for sure. So let's talk about what you'd like to share around things that you're offering businesses.
Sure. Well, I just wanted to let small businesses know that there is supports out there for them through the provincial government. So starting January 18th, actually, Ontario Hydro has gone to off-peak rates for everyone, residential, small business, and farms. So there's no longer that 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. It's an off-peak rate all day long for the foreseeable future, which they did when COVID first started, but during this latest lockdown, they re-implemented that program again. They've also started a grant. So there is a small business relief grant that is out there for businesses with 100 employees or less that were ordered to close their indoor operations starting January 5th. They have an opportunity to get $10,000 with this grant.
Wow.
And they can start applying starting early February. If they go to the Ontario website, they will see where they can go to apply. This was offered previously to small businesses, but they have opened it up again for businesses. So businesses that are eligible, were businesses that have applied for this in the past, they will already be reached out to from the Ontario government, letting them know that, hey, you were able to get this before and now you're able to get it again. And they actually don't even have to apply. And then new businesses that have newly formed since 2021, so since January 2021, that has now opened up for them to apply as well. So it's for businesses with less than 100 employees and ones that have from restaurants to racing venues to meeting and event spaces to tour guides, performing arts and cinema, museums, galleries, conference centers, driving instruction, and before and after school programs are all available for this grant. And so they should keep an eye on that for it to be opening up next week sometime for them to apply.
That's amazing. So you said less than 100 or 100 and less?
100 and less employees qualify for that grant. They're also offering a cost rebate program. So this was announced in December 2021, and it opened. The applications for that opened on January 18th, and so that's for businesses to get rebates on their property and energy costs that during the time where they have to be closed. So they're eligible for businesses that had to reduce their capacity at 50%. So retail stores, gyms that had to close totally, and restaurants that had to close totally, they're able to get a rebate up to 100% of their property tax and energy costs. So applications for that open January 18th. So for the restaurants that have been closed for this whole month, they're able to get 100% of their property tax and energy costs rebated with this program. And that again is available at the Ontario website.
Yeah, I mean, I think those incentives or initiatives are a help without a doubt. I mean, there's no doubt.
It's always never enough though, right? It is, because this is our 4th lockdown, and it's those sections are struggling the hardest. So it's nice to see that there is some out there, but there's still There's still more I think that can be done. So what the Chamber has done ourselves to help businesses keep safe is we partnered with the Ontario Chamber of Commerce and Ontario Health, and we're offering rapid antigen screening kits to small businesses for free.
Wow.
You do not have to be a Chamber member to qualify for these kits. You can just go onto our website and we have that available for them. Currently, we had a huge surge in interest in these kits for the month of December, which I think the whole province noticed. And we did run out of our supply, but I have some good news. We expect to get our supply in next week. So we'll be starting to contact those businesses that haven't already signed up. The ones that have signed up, we'll be contacting them to come get their pickups, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, and reopening that registration again for businesses that haven't already signed up.
So having the rapid antigen test, if you can just elaborate a bit on how that would actually benefit the business. And it's great news that you're getting your supply, because that was going to be a question we've been hearing about.
Yeah, so I just got the news yesterday and I was very excited to hear that. So I should have, within the next 2 weeks, I should be getting my supply back in. So what it is, it's a screening program. So it helps keep your business and your employees safe. It's a daily tool. I know some parents have already had them with the schools. They were handed out at school time. So it's just a screener. It's a 15-minute, it's not an invasive screen. It's just into the nose slightly, swab it around 20 seconds in each nostril, and then it looks like a little pregnancy test, and you can dab on there and it will show you results within 15 minutes of whether or not you have COVID. So you have a designated area in your business where you conduct these tests, where everyone is with proper PPE, and then you completely sanitize that down before you use it for its proper use. So whether it be your lunchroom or an office that's not in use, and you do your daily screenings there so that you can catch the employee before they've entered essentially into the workplace and contaminated more. And then you can stop the spread instead of that employee coming in, working, sometimes not even knowing they have it, because you can be asymptomatic. So you can stop them from coming in and spreading it. So you're losing one employee instead of your whole team, which is great.
So it's a really valuable tool for sure for businesses to have, and it's great that it's free. I mean,
Since we've run out, we've heard that the cost from these, the cost for these is quite enormous. So we're very fortunate that we're able to give them out to the small businesses for free. Now, we are only able to give it to businesses with 150 employees or less. Currently, right now, that is the limitations on the program. And it is the Grey Bruce area that we are distributing these kits to. So we have had businesses as far as Kincardine come, which is nice because you do have to have training on how to administer the test just for your first visit. And then when you pick up your refills, you don't have to do the training anymore. As far this program right now is going to run until March. Our hope is that it does get extended because, COVID right now isn't going anywhere, unfortunately. So we'd like to keep the program going, but we do have an extension until March 2022 right now, which is great.
So you actually do the training yourself, do you?
Yeah. I have a training video. I'm the one that calls you and sets up your appointment. I'm the one you come and see. I'm an expert on these kits. So if you have any questions, you can call the chamber office and I will inform you to the best of my knowledge. Yes.
Excellent. Just for our viewing audience, can you say where your office is actually located? You mentioned it was in Owen, but...
Yeah, so we're located on 2nd Avenue East, 1051 2nd Avenue East, downtown Owen Sound. We're across the street from the Metro Plaza in Sweet Spots, which is an office space that is located just above Garbing Gear.
Yeah, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, we do the kit distribution is done for those businesses that have come before. We do it out of our classroom in the basement, which is a nice that we're able to socially distance, and we limit to only 4 people per training session so that we can make sure we're doing all of the COVID protocols when we are distributing the kits. The businesses also get a month's supply when they come, so you're not having to show up every week. We make sure you have enough to test twice weekly for a month, which is what is recommended by Ontario Health when you're doing these testing.
Yeah, so a wonderful service actually to be able to provide that. I'd like to go back to the grants for just a moment.
Sure.
So sometimes in the past, I've heard people, not about these grants, but just grants are difficult. There are a lot of paperwork and sometimes a lot of questions and kind of make it challenging for people.
Mm-hmm.
What are you hearing from the grants, the process the grants that you've recently mentioned in the program?
So the Ontario Business Relief Grant, they have made it as simple as possible, even to the fact that those that applied for it previously don't have to apply again. They're just going to be reached out and said, if you've previously applied, you can have this money again if you'd like it, sort of thing. And so for the new businesses, it's very, there's a guide on the Province of Service Ontario website that leads you and instructs you on how simple it is to apply. You just basically need to show that you have your business license and just a few simpler other questions. And the rebates are going to go back into retroactive to December 19th of 2021.
Wow. Yeah.
So even savings before they had to close, where they had to limit the capacity. So the province is trying to help support those businesses that had to suffer during these latest round of lockdowns.
And if anyone had questions, even
I'm more than happy to help and answer the questions. You can call the chamber office, or you can reach out to me for email, which is just Tiffany@oschamber.com.
Excellent. Because sometimes it's just helpful to be able to talk to a person if you go online and you're just not sure, just to have that. But the chamber does provide that service then, which is great.
Yeah.
What are you seeing as a result of COVID with businesses? There's been a lot of talk about losing businesses, not just the sound, but generally. Is that what the chamber is noticing, or?
We are seeing not so much losing. We're seeing a lot of businesses, they'll just decide to retire earlier. That's what we're seeing. Like the small businesses are just, will just retire earlier. What we're mostly seeing right now due to COVID is the struggle to find employees, especially in the restaurant sector and the retail. The struggle to find people that were laid off when COVID first started, not wanting to come back, or changing career paths, or going to school instead. So that's where we're seeing it a lot, is in the employment. Businesses are having to reduce hours because they just don't have the staff to keep their doors open like they did before.
Certain businesses more than others, would you say?
Yeah, I would say restaurants and retail mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
I do see a lot of help wanted signs in windows, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you anticipate it will take time to fill that gap? What do other chambers also?
It's going to take time in order to fill out those spaces again. A lot of people decided that they wanted to go back to school, or they wanted to, go in a different direction. It wasn't for them anymore. So it's going to take a while. It's going to take a turnaround in order for those businesses to bounce back and get those employees in place. So, yeah.
So you identified that certain businesses have really had the impact more than others. And so you mentioned, I think, food service businesses. Yeah. Any others that you've noticed everyone's been hard hit, but, there are some businesses that have also thrived as a result of COVID. So I wonder if you can give the balance, those that have been challenged and those who have had opportunities.
Well, the grocery chains, obviously, because we all still need our groceries. They have thrived. We're mostly the ones that are thriving. You don't really hear from them a lot because they're doing okay. It's the ones that are struggling that we hear from the most. Like our venues, like our theater and events, festivals. That's all been canceled, or they've had to change how they're doing things. So that's a struggle. I don't know about you, but I miss live music.
Yes.
So, that the things that we used to enjoy, where we could be together in close settings, and that sort of thing, is where they're struggling. So, yeah,
for sure. What And any surprises for you as now we're in the Omicron episode? You know, I almost feel like it's just a novel, you know, of waves of different. Anything with the Omicron wave that is different than you may have noticed before?
How much businesses pivoted this time, like the ones that had to shut down again, quickly bounced back and said, okay, I'm going to shut down, but this is what I'm going to do instead. And to watch that happen has been so exciting. So like I mentioned earlier, like the restaurants, they switch to frozen meals or frozen drinks, or take home our like Caseros offers their margarita to go, which I think is fantastic, because if you haven't had one, you should. They're delicious. Also, Joe Tomatoes offered their homemade soups frozen to go. But you know, things like that you see, I just think is great. The European bakery thrived with their mama meals in frozen in grocery stores across our area, which I was surprised. I went into the Markdale Foodland and saw the European bakery products in there. I live in Tara, and there are frozen European bakery meat pies in our little general store in Tara. And I think that is great, how much they're able to just, you know, pivot and go with the times. As much as you miss eating out, you can still get your favorite restaurant meals.
Yeah.
Just not, you have to heat them up
Yeah.
and serve them to you, which I think is great. Yeah.
When I would have to think that it's a wonderful opportunity to develop an expanded client base as well. When you see things you wouldn't have normally seen, as you mentioned, in a corner store, that, you know, Markdale, for example, frozen meals from a restaurant or a place that isn't actually located in that community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's great to see those things. Like it's nice to go outside of our little catchment and be able to see like your favorite local restaurant's meal at where you wouldn't expect to see it. I think that's fabulous, and it's encouraging, especially during this fourth wave of COVID again, because unfortunately I feel like this may not be the last one, which is not something everyone wants to hear, but it's the reality we're living in right now. Yeah. So it's nice for them to be able to pivot and make sure that they can still thrive in this environment.
Yeah, I know you keep looking at some noise that's happening.
Yeah, I apologize.
Oh, don't you worry. As long as you're safe and not nervous and there's no problem, that's all I care about. We can work around everything else. I just want you to be okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. It just sort of shocked me. I thought I'd locked the door.
That's all right, as long as you're safe.
Yes.
So, from your perspective, based on what you've seen, do you think that the business model will change to be a hybrid model where, has this really changed how people will consider doing business in the future?
Oh, most definitely. I think you can't go through drastic change that we have faced during this pandemic without seeing business models change. And even just for brick and mortar stores to set up a website that they haven't had before, right? Because they're so used to people just being able to come into their retail store and buy whatever they want. Yeah. You're going to notice more people now are going to offer those online purchases and being able to shop online. And that's also something you can do even just as easily without setting up a website, but through your social media. Instagram now has, you can put your products online and with links right on the photos to shop right directly from Instagram. And I think you're going to see that a lot more. Yeah. Most definitely.
So we've heard a lot about shop local, which, can be online.
Oh yes, shop local.
I'm wondering if you can elaborate a little bit about why that is so important.
Well, it's the small businesses in our area that support our local house league teams, who we, as the chamber, personally, when we're looking for events, we're looking for sponsors. It's our small local businesses that we go to for sponsorship as well. I'm sure a lot of our social services, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, we all go to our small local businesses, and they're the first ones that will support us. So now's the time where we need to support them as well. You start at home. you look at home when you're looking for help, so why not shop at home to help support those businesses as well? They're the ones in your back door, always there helping whenever they can. So now it's our turn to show them that support. We actually just did a shop local campaign over the Christmas holidays, encouraging people to shop local with all of the Grey County chambers, and it was a great success.
Yeah, and I think recognizing that our local businesses are our neighbors and they are our community, and the one thing we've learned is how important community is in supporting community through COVID. So I really did want to emphasize about the shopping local, and it doesn't necessarily mean physically going, but if you have an option to buy online or order for delivery, to consider seriously that.
Yeah, the Bounce is doing something really great right now where they're doing takeout Fridays. They're encouraging people to shop, to order online for Fridays and take it home. And I think that's just great. I love hearing stuff like that.
Yeah, and you know, people are liking the convenience, I believe, of having that availability. It may be a new way of things for people as well.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when you're tired at the end of a week and you think, maybe I just want to go home and get in my comfy clothes and just take something with them. It works really, really well. How do you see the next few months around the area of people working from home? You know, there's been some home businesses set up. What will you think will happen in that area in the minute and a half we have left in the program?
I personally prefer to be in the office than working from home, but I think it's all based on your preference. I think you'll see a lot of businesses will do a hybrid. They might not have a full office like they did before, so they might do half at home 1 week, half in office, and then rotate back. That's what I think you'll see. What I'm hoping is that we, come March 31st, we are back open and we will be able to host the chamber will be able to host our networking events again. Businesses will be able to open. I would really like to go to the movies again. I'd really like to see the Roxy's planning their Red Plaid show, and I have tickets for that, so I hope to be able to go see that. I'm optimistic that we will reopen and we'll hopefully be able to see some thrive happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful and optimistic as well. We are all desperate for that to happen, I think, at this point. Yeah. Thank you, Tiffany, for being on the program and for all that the Chamber is doing to support our businesses in Owen Sound and the district. So not just in Owen Sound. You take care and stay well.
Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you to our viewing audience who have joined us to learn more about services, programs, and resources available to you. Please take care and stay safe. Thank you.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.